What is going on, people? Welcome into the channel. I hope you are having a good week. I know I am. I'm always having a good week. Coventry City are top of the table. But we got to look forward to the Wrexham versus Coventry City game away in Wrexham. I know a lot of you are making the trip up. Really excited for you guys. It'll be a great atmosphere. You know why it's going to be a great atmosphere? Because it's Halloween, baby. I know Halloween isn't massive over in Europe and the UK, but you know what? It is pretty big here. I always enjoyed it growing up. And you know what? At the ripe age of 26, call me uncle all you want. I'm dressing up. You know why I'm dressing up? Because Cov play Wrexham on Halloween night. I'm having a little Halloween get together at my apartment after the game. So I figured, you know what? Two birds, one stone. Let me show you this little graphic I made. You can see the tweet right here. I will be doing a Halloween watch along on TikTok at JonerFatCats because someone stole my username. Tune in 30 minutes before kickoff. I have a absolutely goated costume. I don't care what anyone says. Anyways, let's talk about the game. And one last thing, by the way, if you saw I was away this weekend, I was watching some American football. I have a video coming out about that stuff probably in the next week or two, but with the 3-game match week, it's going to be tough to get it out. And it's already Tuesday when I'm recording this, so probably looking at about 2 weeks from now, so keep an eye out for that. Now, Wrexham. The Hulu fairy tale. One of the 3 teams that came up from League One this season. One of 2 teams that had, the North American money influx where, they bought their way up, as people say. But hey, you know what? They're in 16th place. They have 14 points. And you know what? They've had a nice little run of fixtures the last month or so. So they've only lost 1 time in their last 8 games. So that's really commendable for a team that, had a tough start to the year. They had a heartbreaking loss on the first game of the season against Southampton. They blew a 2-goal lead. The 5th most goals per match, which is, hey, you know what? For a team in 16th place, you got to respect that. That's pretty class. On top of having the 5th most goals per match, they also have the 17th least goals conceded per match. So they are very good defensively. I'll get into a couple more statistics backing up their defense because what I found in my analysis is that they are very strong defensively. I mean, I think we all knew that. But on the flip side, they only have 2 clean sheets this year. They don't have a lot of possession of the ball. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what to expect on Friday night in Wrexham. 22nd in average possession with 42%. Cov recently have been dropping a little bit, but they're still sitting just at about 52%, which is upper third-ish of the league. But if you've watched my videos before, you know that I do not care about possession. I care about what you do with the possession. Now, as we know, I like to use the statistics to essentially paint a picture of how a team plays. Wrexham, stereotypical, made it very, very easy based on the next couple things I'm going to say. They're tied for first with Hull City for the most accurate long balls with 27 a game. So they're having an accurate long ball once every 3 minutes in a game, give or take. However, they're 22nd in touches in the opposing box. So couple that together with, the low average possession, the high amount of long balls. I believe, they're 17th in corners, so they don't get many corners. They are back to front very quick. Lots of deep through balls, things like that. So, the likes of Ben Sheaf, he can definitely play that ball when healthy. Ben Sheaf is actually going to be out for this game. He is fighting an injury, as per usual. Hopes for him. And you know what? He put together a couple decent fixtures for Wrexham, so it was good to see. But it's a shame that, he just can't stay healthy. Wrexham are 3rd in interceptions per match. They are 4th in tackles per match, 8th in clearances, and 9th in saves. Now that we've heard a bunch of statistics, let's really talk about who they are as a team. They play in a 5-back. They concede a lot of possession. They attack from back to front very quickly. Lots of long balls. They play through the midfield. So, couple last games that they've had against comparable, for the most part, teams. They conceded 69% possession to Middlesbrough in that 1-1 draw. They conceded 59% possession to to Birmingham City. Wow, my brain is still recovering from this weekend. And then they conceded 68% possession to Leicester. So they're going to sit back and they're going to defend, whether they're home or they're away, especially against a team like Coventry. It's going to be a possession-heavy game for Coventry in my prediction analysis, I guess I would say. So that's very interesting. I mentioned that Ben Sheaf is going to be out. Another previous Coventry City player, Callum Doyle, is also going to be out of this game. He is, the Manchester City player on loan to Wrexham for the season. He's been really good this year. However, that red card did end up getting him a 3-match ban, so he is not going to be around for this game. But they do have some other serviceable center backs that can slot in there. You could see someone like a Connor Coady come back in. He fell out of form in the last couple weeks or games. but maybe he'll come back in. They've got a few other center backs on the roster as well, but Wrexham pride themselves on having a good defense, so they definitely have the depth there to match up with Coventry City's absolutely insane attack this season. Now, I think Coventry are going to line up a little bit differently than we would expect, so I'll show my lineup in a second. But I just want to talk about the Wrexham midfield, not including Ben Sheaf because I don't think he's going to be in this game. They pass the ball and they run everything through their midfield. Their three midfielders that, sort of rotate between the squad are very, very good passers. So at the top, you've got George Dobson. He's created 81 progressive passes this season. You know I love my progressive passes. 81, I believe, is more than Matt Grimes at this current point in the season. So that just goes to show very involved, very progressive with his passes. Oh, that's such a terrible way to, you know what I mean. Right behind him in total passes is Lewis O'Brien. He's made something like 40 to 50 progressive passes, and then total passes wise, he's somewhere in the 4 to 500. So very, very involved in the midfield, as you would obviously expect. These are the guys that are, taking those chances, sending the likes of Kiefer Moore, Josh Windass through, even the wingers. We'll talk about the wingers a little bit later. I want to get into the Coventry lineup first because I want to talk about Coventry a little bit because things are going to look a little bit different this game. So this is my prediction on how the team is going to line up. The reason I have Kane Kessler-Hayden in there, if you haven't heard, is that Milan Van Ewijk got his 5th yellow card of the season. So, that game against Portsmouth came back to hurt us a little bit. He did pick up another one this past weekend, but it's okay. Kane Kessler-Hayden is, a near enough one-to-one replacement. So I'm looking forward to him getting his chance to play a full 90 minutes because, scarcity-wise, he's the only one there. But when he's had his chance to come on, he's looked good. So Kane is going to get his chance down that right-hand side in a 3/5 back, which somewhat morphed into a 3-4-3. I am a little concerned about the midfield. I don't think Victor Torp is going to be healthy. I think it's going to be Jamie Allen again. We saw against Watford, the midfield got ran through, especially in that first half, really both halves, but especially the amount of sheer chances that Watford had in the first half. Very, very different game if they put one or two of those through. Wouldn't have gotten that red card, wouldn't have been 3-0 going into the half, and you never know. Could have dropped points from that game. So I'm hoping that they can figure it out this game. Hopefully, they can have a lot of the ball so they don't have to be sat back and they don't have to absorb the attack of Wrexham, which, like I said, they like to sit back and defend as well. So I think it'll work out okay. Hold a lot of possession. Try to just pin them deep. And if we turn the ball over in the attacking third, hopefully the likes of BTA, Haji Wright, Sakamoto can go and they can win it back. We know specifically with BTA and Sakamoto, the work rate is out of this world. Now, the attack, I could see one or two things being a little bit different. I think EMC will be dropped this game instead of Sakamoto. I think BTA can play anywhere across the front right now. I'd be happy with it. Maybe he feels more comfortable on the right and Sakamoto will play down the left. I'm not too sure, but I think it'll be those three. Sox is coming off his best performance of the season. So very, very happy days for him. He needed it really, really badly. And he's going to have a lot of work to do because Jamie Allen may not have the pace to be a box-to-box up and down the field as we'd like, but we know the likes of Kane Kessler-Hayden and Sakamoto can definitely make up for that and help put a little bit of a shift in the midfield so that they don't get overran like they did a little bit against Watford. Brandon Thomas Asante is, he's an attacker. He's been playing as the 10 in the last couple games. It definitely shows in the midfield that we definitely lost the last midfield battle, but I think in this game, if we focus on holding some possession and limiting those counterattacks, I think that this will be the team that can go out and get a couple points. So just quickly, I want to circle back to Wrexham one more time because there's some interesting things that I saw. I think a key player in this game will be Kane Kessler-Hayden. So if you know anything about Wrexham, you know that their strikers are their premier players. So Joshua Windass, he came over from Sheffield Wednesday with the entire debacle, which shout out them for being in administration now. And then you've also got Kiefer Moore, who has 5 goals this season. Josh Windass has 4, so between them they have 9 goals. I may have flip-flopped those, don't quote me, but 4 and 5, it's close enough. They both are at a respectable goal tally this season, especially for a team sitting, in the bottom half of the table. So very good on their part. They're clinical finishers. They are championship men, if you want to call it that. They have a lot of experience in the league, and they're there to do what Wrexham signed them for, and that's to keep them up. And I think that's what they definitely will do. It seems like they're starting to consolidate around that mid to late teens-ish area, 16th-ish place. Now, I want to talk about Ryan Longman. Ryan Longman is the left wing back, left winger for Wrexham. He is someone who is a danger man in this matchup, especially going against Kane Kessler-Hayden, who hasn't had the most game time. Ryan Longman has received the most progressive passes on the team, so he's received 50 progressive passes, so they have played and they are comfortable playing him into dangerous positions. He only has 1 assist this season, but he does have 10 successful take-ons, so he will dribble, and he's not afraid to dribble. I think that Kane Kessler-Hayden and him will have a really good matchup down that left-hand side. Another thing about Ryan Longman is that he also has carried the ball the most and the farthest distance on the Wrexham squad this entire season. So that also paints you that picture. You know, the tied for the second most long balls in the league. He's probably going to be someone that's receiving a lot of them. He's received the most progressive passes. He gets on the end of a lot of those through balls. So hopefully Kane is ready to get up and down that pitch and be really active, get up in his face, you know, shove him around a little bit, and just be ready because he has big shoes to fill with Milan. I think he'll do a decent job. Obviously, he's not Milan Van Ewijk. We have to remember that, but it's his first big game. Halloween, not that it matters, but cool narrative. I'm looking forward to him getting his opportunity. Jay Da Silva on the other side, as per usual. They've got another decent winger down the right side with Isaac Kabor, however you pronounce it. I do apologize if it's wrong. He's pacey, he can whip balls, and he's got 3 assists on the year. So as per usual, the wingbacks are going to have their hands full. Jay Da Silva did a great job last week against Kwame Moba and Watford's attack down the right-hand side. He neutralized them to the best of his ability, so I'm looking forward to that. And then the back line just needs to be the back line. Bobby had a couple blunders in the Watford game, but ultimately didn't come back to hurt him. The only true blunder was the Rushworth penalty, but hey, it was a mistake that was made in a game that was 3-0. It's totally okay. I have full confidence in Rushworth. I think we all do. So I think that leads us into our prediction. I hope I did a good job painting a picture of who Wrexham are and how they're going to match up in this game. I think both teams will rock up with a 5-back, 3-back hybrid, whatever you want to call it. I think Cov will control the possession. I think Wrexham are actually going to invite them to hold possession because that's what they're comfortable doing. And if they had watched film, they would see that Jamie Allen definitely is a little bit of a liability. And again, no disrespect to him at all because we all love Jamie Allen. But it just didn't seem to click that great. And Watford were able to exploit that. They weren't clinical enough, but they were putting themselves in good opportunities. So they'll probably sit in a 5-back. They will invite pressure, and they will look to go from back to front, you know, long balls from the likes of George Dobson, Lewis O'Brien, even coming from the back from the goalkeeper, from Dom Hyam if he gets the chance and the space to do so. So it'll be really interesting to see. But I am going to go with a 2-0 victory to Coventry City here. I just think that you just have to stay on the train while it's moving. The train is just rolling and rolling. Brandon Thomas Asante is one of the most informed players in the world right now. 7 goals in the last 6 games. I think he'll get on the score sheet again. And you know what? Haji hasn't looked the best the last week or so, but I think Haji's going to get back to his goal-scoring form, whether it be from a penalty or a tap-in or a nice finish by himself. I think he'll get on the sheet. So I think it'll be those two. We could see an Ellis Sims substitution. Substitution-wise, it gets a little dodgy if someone needs to come off here because I'm not sure. Maybe you bring on Eccles for Allen. We don't really know if Eccles is truly fit. If Eccles is 100% fit, I would slot him in over Allen, but we won't know until the day. I feel like we don't get as much injury news in the championship compared to what I'm used to in American sports. But yeah, that's all for me. Just a breakdown of the game. Looking forward to the Halloween live stream. Please tune in if you're free. Have a nice little costume on. Even if you don't make it in, you'll see the costume, so don't worry about it. Follow all my socials. So I'm on Instagram now, don't forget, at JonerFatCat. Twitter, at JonerFatCat. YouTube, you know my YouTube if you're watching this video. And my TikTok is JonerFatCats with an S. Thank you. Enjoy the week. I'll see you guys in a few days. Peace.